Okay, I wanted to do a quick video on my latest TV score. This is a 1950 Philco, model number 50-T1104 from 1950, obviously. Really excited to pick up this set. This set's been on my bucket list, and I just got it last night, so I'm really excited about it. It's in great shape. It's the Bakelite model. It's in pretty decent shape. This TV came out of a storage unit, so no telling. It was in a storage unit for 11 years from the owner that had it, and he didn't know much about what had happened to it previous to that. I think he bought it at an estate sale. So he bought it in an estate sale, and it's been in a storage unit for 11 years, and other than that, he didn't know anything about it. And he didn't plug it in, which is a bonus, so that's good. You can see it's got all the knobs on and off, and I think this would be horizontal and vertical. And this is brightness and contrast, and then of course it's got the channel selector and the fine tuning on the inside. It's a 10-inch set. It still looks pretty good. A little bit of dirt in there behind the safety glass, which is pretty common for old sets like this. But I'm really excited, especially since it has all the knobs, and I think I can get this Bakelite shined up pretty good. It's just basically dirty, but there's a couple of scratches in the Bakelite, but for the most part it's just filthy, which will clean up really well, I'm sure. Now the inside's another matter. It's really filthy. You can see this big honking power transformer here. That plus the fact this thing's Bakelite and has this big chassis in it, big metal chassis. This thing weighs, I don't know what it weighs, but it was a struggle getting it up on the table by myself, which is really weird for a 10-inch TV. But this thing, I bet it seems like it weighs 100 pounds, and I'm not kidding. So anyway, let's see if I can get some light in here and get a little better look at it. There's the tube chart. You can see right there. You can see the model 50T1104. So the tube chart's in good shape. And then it's got the built-in, early 50s built-in Philco antenna with the adjustable knob on the front. It's got a few spiders in there, a few spider webs. Those are always good to have. And this is a 10 BP4 picture tube. Let's get a look at the high voltage cage. Man, it is really dirty. I haven't even popped that open to look at it yet. This is really only the second time I've really even looked at it. I haven't looked at it very good yet. See the IF strip in there. That's a 5U4 rectifier in there. There's a 5U4 rectifier in this set. Anyway, there's some rust on the interior of this set, but it doesn't look like it's too bad. It may just be that it was in a storage unit. Now they told me it was in a climate controlled storage unit, and I don't know about that, or I don't know about where it lived in the years prior to that, but there is some rust on it. There's a lot of dirt on it, so it may be that those tube shields are rusted, and some of these other spots right in here I see another one in there, back in there somewhere, that has a little bit of rust, but I don't think the chassis is rusted too bad. So the other thing that's surprising about it is there's several Philco tubes in here. These 3 tubes here are all original Philco tubes. That's an original Philco tube right there too. And I see a couple more, 3 more, 4 more original Philco tubes. So despite being 64 years old, this may be a low hour set based on the fact that I'm not seeing a lot of tubes replaced. Either that or they just replaced them with Philco tubes. Here's the back of the chassis. You can see it's stamped September 27th in the AM. And I would assume, since this is a 50 model, that very well may be September 27th, 1949. Production in the fall for the next model year. Okay, yeah, that's got to be what it is. If you look at that yoke stamp, I don't know if you can see that, but that says September 22nd, 1949. So the yoke was either installed or made, or that's before this date. States this yoke is stamped 5 days before that date. So I'm not real sure why that would be. Maybe this was assembled onto the tube before the tube was actually installed into the chassis. I'm not real sure. So interlock there. It's not too bad. It's really dirty. This is the height control. What is this control? This is, what is that? Oh, vertical linearity. Okay. There's a little bit of rust on that antenna connection, but I think this is probably just in storage somewhere where occasionally some maybe some dew or some moisture got in where it was, wherever, you know, humidity couldn't get out of here. But it doesn't look like there's been any rats or anything like that in here. This set does have a back. I know I didn't show that to you, but it does have a back on it. It's busted to where it won't connect to these holes, so it doesn't set on the set very good, but it does have the original back. Okay, and as you can see, you may be able to see that you can see that filament glow in there. I did hook up the Syncor CR70 to the picture tube, as I'm very curious to see if that tube's good or not. So what I did was went ahead and set it up, and it's been cooking for probably maybe 15 minutes now, and I have not tested it yet. I've got it at about 6.5 volts, and so let's see what we get here. So let's get this filament right on 6.3. Alright, that's right on 6.3. No shorts. Shorts there. Ooh. Well, I'm getting some cutoff. There's a little cutoff response there. That's good. Let's see what kind of emissions. Oh, wow. Wow, that's dropping. Hey, that's a good sign. That's a really, really good sign. I wasn't expecting that. A lot of times when these type of tubes have been sitting around like this for years, it takes a while for the emissions to come back. And you can tell my dog's excited about this too. I really, really wasn't expecting that good of emissions out of this tube. But like I said, you know, I'm seeing so many original Philco tubes in here, and it being a tabletop model, it might not have a lot of hours on it. The thing's just old. So that's still really strong. Really, really strong. I'd like to see a little better cutoff response, but that's good enough. It's not as critical as no shorts of the emission. Now let's see what the life test shows. That's pretty solid. It's coming down a little bit, but that's pretty solid. So what I'm going to do now is just put it back at 6.5 volts, and I'll just let it bake for about an hour and come back and see what I get. But that is just phenomenal. This is probably the oldest tube I've ever tested that within, well, maybe 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes anyway, getting that kind of emissions. You know, the one thing I was looking for that I couldn't find was the speaker, and I know that the speaker is right here, so it's got to be underneath the chassis. So that's a little different. I've never worked on a set like that, but this thing looks really, really cool, and it's really, really heavy. I can't believe how heavy it is. Here is the here's the back for it. I guess I can't put it on there because of my tube checker, but gives you a look at the back and see how those corners are clipped off. It's not really holding the back on. So, but it's not in too bad a shape for being 64 years old. That's kind of what it looks like. Anyway, just wanted to get a little footage of this set before I start work on it. I'm sure I'll do a series of videos on this set when it comes time to restore it. I have a number of other projects that will be before this one, but I'll eventually get to this. This, like I said, this set was on my bucket list, and it looks like the tube's going to be fine. The picture tube's going to be fine. Now I just got to make sure that this power transformer is okay, and most generally those things are. But I, you know, keep my fingers crossed that it's in working order, and then you know, the old flyback in here, making sure that it's still in good order, and then getting it out, getting it cleaned up, and getting the chassis out, and you know, getting a really good look at it, and making sure the yoke and everything else is okay. But it's really, really exciting to see that CRT test do that well right off the bat. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed a look at my latest acquisition, one that's very exciting for me, and I will get started on it in the very near future. Okay, thanks for watching.